Nomo Amidabutsu, an illustrated biography of Shinran, compiled by Kakunyo, with introduction, translation and notes by Z.H. Inagaki. Scroll to sections 5 to 8. Section 5. When the virtuous master of Kurodani, Genku, was still in the world, out of compassion, he granted Shonin permission to copy his work, and on another occasion wrote Shonin's new name in his own hand. It is stated in a collection of passages revealing the provisional transformed Buddhas and lands of the Pure Land Way, chapter 6, compiled by Shinran Shonin. I, Gotoku Shinran, disciple of Shakyamuni, abandoned sundry practices and took refuge in the primal vow in the first year of Kennen, the year of metal. In the year of wood, or ox, of the Genku area, with the master's kind permission, I copied his collection of passages concerning the Nembutsu of the best selected primal vow. In the same year, on the 4th day of the middle part of the 4th month, the master in his own hand inscribed the following on the inside of my copy, a collection of passages concerning the Nembutsu of the best selected primal vow, and the words Namo Amida Butsu. The fundamental act for the attainment of birth is the Nembutsu, and also my new name, Shaku, disciple of Shakyamuni. On the same day, I borrowed the master's portrait and copied it. In the same second year of Genku, on the 9th day of the latter part of the 7th intercalary month, the master inscribed on my copy of the portrait Namo Amida Butsu and the passage of the true teaching, if, when I become a Buddha, all sentient beings in the 10 quarters who call my name even 10 times fail to be born in my land, may I not attain perfect enlightenment. This Buddha, having attained Buddhahood, now dwells in the Pure Land. You should know that his weighty vows are not in vain. Sentient beings who call his name will unfailingly attain birth. On the same day, he also wrote on the portrait my new name, Zenshin, to which my former name, Shaku, was changed according to a revelation in a dream. The master was then 73 years old. A collection of passages concerning the Nembutsu of the best selected primal vow was compiled at the request of the Chancellor, the ordained layman, Lord Tsukinowa Kanazani, Buddhist name Ensho. The essentials of the true teaching of the Pure Land Way and the profound doctrine of the Nembutsu are contained in it. Those who read it can easily understand it. It is indeed an incomparable and supreme collection of fine passages, an unsurpassed and profound scripture. Out of the thousands of people who received his teaching, personally or otherwise, over many days and years, very few were allowed to read and copy this work. Nevertheless, I was allowed to copy it, and also make a copy of his portrait. This is the benefit of the exclusive practice of the right act. This is a sure proof of my future attainment of birth. With tears of sorrow and joy, I have noted the above story. Section 6. In bygone days, when Genku Shonin was still alive and propagated the teaching of birth in the Pure Land by the other power, the whole country was receptive to and took refuge in it. Those at the helm of state in the imperial palace yearned for the blossoms in the golden forests, and the ministers and high officials in charge of government administration admired the moon of the 48 vows. In addition, country folk in remote places and the general public all upheld and revered the teaching. The noble, as well as the underprivileged, went to see Honin in great numbers. So great were the numbers that his hermitage was as crowded as a market. It is said that the priests alone, in close attendance upon him, amounted to more than 380. Be that as it may, only very few actually received the master's personal instructions and closely followed them. Their number was hardly more than 5 or 6. One day, Zenshin Shonin, that is Shinran, said to the master, I have abandoned the path of difficult practice and come to the path of easy practice. I have left the gate of the sacred path and entered the Pure Land gate. Without your kind instructions, how could I have attained the propitious cause for emancipation? What a joy it is! Nothing can compare with this. As I reflect, however, although I have developed friendly ties with many of your disciples and share with them the opportunity to receive your teaching, none of us realize who among us have settled faith for attaining birth in the true land of recompense, and who have not. For this reason, in order to ascertain who will be my true friends in the life to come, and also for the record of happenings in this ephemeral world, I wish to present a question at the gathering of your disciples, asking about their inner hearts. The great master, Genku Shonin, replied, Your proposal is most reasonable. You may ask them when they come here tomorrow. At the gathering the next day, Shonin declared, Today your seats are divided into two sides. One side is for those who are steadfast in faith, and the other for those who are steadfast in practice. Please be seated on one or the other side. The fellow disciples, numbering more than 300, appeared puzzled, not understanding Shonin's intention. At that time, it is said that Saikoku, who held the rank of the Dharma Seal Great Master, and Horin, Shaku Shinku Shonin, said, I will be on the side of steadfast faith. Next, novice Hariki, Kumagai Nayozani Nayodo, who came late, asked, What is your intention of keeping a record, Zenshinbo? Zenshin Shonin replied, 2 seats are provided, one for steadfast faith and the other for steadfast practice. Horiki said, Let me, Horiki, join you. I will be on the side of steadfast faith. Shonin wrote down Horiki's name in his note. Although a few hundred disciples were assembled there, no one spoke out. This probably shows that they were clinging to the delusory mind of self-power, and so did not realize the diamond-hard true faith. While silence prevailed in the hall, Shonin noted down his own name. A little later, the great master said, I, Genku, will join the side of steadfast faith. At that moment, some of the disciples were overcome with a feeling of awe and respect, while some others appeared downcast with shame. Section 7. Shonin related the following episode. A long time ago, when many disciples, including Shoshinbo, Saikonbo, and Nembutsubo, were in the presence of the great master Genku Shonin, an unexpected dispute took place. The dispute began when I said, The master Shonin's faith and Zenshin's faith are not different in the least. They are one and the same. They argued against me, saying, Zenshinbo's remarks that the master's faith and his faith are the same is unreasonable. How could they be the same? Zenshin replied, Why don't you say that they are the same? It would be preposterous to say that the master's wisdom, which is deep and extensive, is equal to mine. As for faith for birth in the Pure Land, ever since I discovered faith of the other power, I have not conceived any thought of I or mine. The master's faith has been endowed by the other power. Zenshin's faith is also that of the other power. For this reason, I say that his faith and mine are the same. Then the great master made a clear remark, saying, If one's faith is different from another's, they are, after all, faith of self-power. If one's wisdom of understanding is different from others, one's faith is also different from another's. Faith of the other power is endowed by the Buddha to ordinary people, whether they are good or evil. Hence, Genku's faith and Zenshinbo's faith are not different, but they are one and the same. We do not entrust ourselves to Amida because we are wise and intelligent. If your faith is different from mine, you cannot possibly be born in the same Pure Land where I shall be born. You should discern this well. In total consternation, those present were speechless, and so the discussion came to an end. Section 8. Shonin's disciple, Nyasaibo, cherished a desire to have a portrait of Shonin. Knowing this, Shonin said to him, You can ask the Dharma Bridge Josen, who lived in Shijijo, to portray me. Elated by Shonin's suggestion, based on deep observation, Nayusaibo invited the Dharma Bridge to Shonin's abode. Josen came at once as requested. The moment Josen saw Shonin, he said, "Last night I had an inspired dream. The holy priest I saw in the dream is exactly the same person as I now see before my eyes." With profound joy and awe, he continued, "Two noble priests came to visit me. One of them said, 'I wish to have a portrait of this revered incarnation one made.' 'Please make one, Josen.' So I asked, 'Who is this incarnated one?' The priest replied, 'He is the founder of the Zenkoji temple.' I prostrated myself on the floor with my hands joined together and thought to myself in the dream, 'He must be a living incarnation of Amida Tathagata.' Feeling my hair standing on end, I deeply revered and paid homage to him." The priest added, "A portrait of his face will be enough." After the exchange of these words, I awoke from the dream. As I now see Shonin's august countenance at this hermitage, it is not a bit different from the holy priest that I saw in the dream." So saying, Josen shed tears of great joy. Shonin remarked, "Let my portrait be just as you saw in your dream." So Josen portrayed Shonin's face only. Josen had this dream in the night of the 20th day of the 9th month in the 3rd year of Ninji. As I deeply contemplate this miraculous and portentous event, I clearly see that Shonin was an incarnation of Amida Tathagata. It follows then that the teaching he promulgated was most likely Amida's direct exposition. Amida holds up the brilliant lamp of undefiled wisdom to disperse the darkness of delusion in the world of defilement. Furthermore, he showers the rain of Dharma everywhere in order to moisten the dried up hearts of ordinary and deluded beings in the distant future. Let us revere and entrust ourselves to his teaching. Namo Amida Butsu.